I'm going to give you a cast superlative based on the different Ajas. So I'll give you a description, and you tell me which actor in the Wheel of Time ensemble best suits that description.
Okay.
Brown is dedicated to history and studying, so which Wheel of Time cast member knows the most about the source material and the lore?
Josha, who plays Rand. He's a big Wheel of Time reader. He's also reading in his second language, which puts us all to shame.
Blue, passionate and focused. Which cast member gives 100% all the time, even when they have no dialogue and they're not even on camera? They're still giving it everything they got.
I fear that's me. I think that's me.
Don't fear it. That's a wonderful quality to have.
Right, deep background, still giving it all.
So for yellow with healing, I'm going to go with, all right, this is a big one, actually. What's an example of a moment on set when you just weren't feeling something, or a moment wasn't coming together, but another cast member was the scene partner that you needed to access something that made it work?
Funnily enough, I think it would be Daniel. When we were doing these battle sequences, often to give him a break. I mean, his stunt guy, I have to say, his stunt guy barely gets a look in because Daniel is so proficient. But he does get a look in sometimes when the shot's on me and Daniel's working. But Daniel understands that I don't feel it the same way when it's not him. Because the connection and the jeopardy and all that, I don't have the same relationship with the stuntman. So Daniel will even at the kind of when he's kind of exhausted and his body can hardly move a muscle, he'll say, don't worry, Pavel, I've got this one.
Gray advocates for harmony, so I'm going to call this one life of the party. Who is the cast member most likely to get everyone together and have a good time on set?
Maddie, who plays Egwene. She's so funny, and I hope that Egwene gets to express some of her humor. And she's very funny on text, on our WhatsApp group. She's very funny in person, and yeah, she brings everyone together.
I have 8 random questions listed out. I roll the die 3 times, and whatever 3 things I roll, that's what we start with at least.
Okay.
2 is a would you rather question. Would you rather have to fake drive in a scene or fake wake up?
Oh, good one. I'd rather, which would I rather? I'd rather fake wake up. Definitely. Fake driving is just, I've never managed to make it look good. I think I have to be really driving the car.
How do you feel about fake sneezes?
I can do that.
Oh, okay. Wow, you really can. Number 3 is never again. What is something that you did for a role that now makes you say, I am so glad that I did that, but never again?
I mean, probably writhe around in a bed slick with blood. I mean, I don't think I need to do that again. I think I'm pleased with how it looks and it's out there and everybody knows about it. And, that's probably like a once in a lifetime thing.
It's very understandable. Fair enough.
The other one of never again was to have the plastic bag over my head with the oxygen tank up my nose secretly, but then there being the one take where they asked to do it without the oxygen tank.
Oh my.
Peter Dinklage nearly had a heart attack, I think, knowing that he was my sort of, his fingers splitting the bag was my kind of access to air. I think after that we both thought, okay, never again.
Another very reasonable one right there. Number 1, and this question is specifically for you. It's called After the Pineapple. So I watched your pineapple video. Have you learned any other new tricks since opening that pineapple without a knife?
That was such a good one, wasn't it? It really was.
Very impressed.
Really deeply satisfying. There is one other, which is about the fact that if you soak an egg in white vinegar, the shell of the egg goes creepily soft. Okay, and then this is really cool. This is like actually a really good trick. I might be giving everybody so then you need a bottle, like a kind of milk bottle kind of style, and you fill it with sort of up to a certain distance with boiling water. You put this soft egg on top, right? And as the water gently cools, the egg gets sucked through the neck of the bottle, and it's just quite appealing. And maybe I should do a video to illustrate this.
I would love to see that. I need to try that one. The latest thing I've been trying is someone on TikTok shows people how to like crack open an apple just with their bare hands, but
that's just strength, isn't it? That's just strength, no? Or is there a weak spot like the pineapple? There's a weak spot like the pineapple.
I think that's the thing. It's more like hand position and just knowing your stuff and how to do it. And it's supposed to be possible, but I can't. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Collider Ladies Night. It's a big episode. It's a bucket list guest on the show, Rosamund Pike. I'm so happy to have you.
That's a lovely welcome. I'm really happy to be here.
I was reading that you were first discovered at a production of Romeo and Juliet at the National Youth Theater. So I was just wondering, what is like being discovered in a situation like that look like? Does someone just come up to you after the performance and say, I want to help you take the first steps here?
No, it involved because we were performing in a theatre in London, a proper theatre, and that was one of the kind of great things about being in the National Youth Theatre. And I got these 3 letters at stage door, and it was from agents saying that they'd like to represent me. And that was a kind of, I just didn't know where to start. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't know what it really entailed or meant. And so I went for meetings with these 3 people, and it's all kind of way out of your, what you can really take in. You just listen, you go to these kind of what seem like gigantic, fancy buildings, and you meet sort of impressive seeming people, and you're super young and really out of your depth, and you just kind of have to take a punt, really. And someone's vision, or what someone says something about it speaks to you. And actually my agent, Dallas Smith, it's probably the longest relationship of my life. I've been with him for 20 something years now, 24 years.
Just because I feel like we don't talk about like good actor agent relationships. What is a quality of his that you think really best suits your work and the roles that interest you?
I think he knows that I like to keep people guessing, and I think he knows that he's got very good taste, and I think he understands that I always like to try something I haven't done before, and he's also very honest with me about when things aren't good. He's never ever pushed me to do something because it was well paid, or because it was had somebody that somebody thought was fancy in it, or his taste has always been very supportive. Not to say we didn't make less good choices, but I think now, especially in sort of recent years, since I've kind of found my stride, I think and an agent has to grow with you too and find out who you are. And you don't even know who the hell you are yourself when you're 22. I do know who I am now, but at the beginning you're finding your feet, and they're just putting you up for everything. And if you get a job, you're offered it, you tend to say yes to it.
I fear I'm ruining my chronological order with this, but what project would you credit with hitting your stride and kind of figuring out what you wanted with?
Gone Girl, really. Gone Girl was the kind of thing that opened up. It was like letting out every single part of being a woman. I was like, I could come home to my partner and say, I just get to do everything with this character, because even if she isn't that thing, essentially, Amy, she's playing it, or she's putting it on, or she's doing a show, or she's pretending to be something she's not, or, the whole kind of cool girl trope and all the different selves that she's able to project. I just, and then obviously where it goes, it's like you get to do everything. And it was like after that, the floodgates opened, and I'd kind of fully let out the crazy. And after that, I never had to put the crazy back in the box again. It was kind of out there, and people, people asked me to do it again in different ways, many different ways, sometimes just extremity of emotion, sometimes physical extremity, and it's just been more and more fun really since then. And also I had hundreds of hours on camera, which is a huge, because that's what Fincher does with his films. He puts all the budget into time, quite a small crew, and the budget of the film goes in number of days. And so I was definitely more in front of a camera on that film than ever before in my in all the cumulative films of my career to that point.
All right, here's a little bit of a convoluted way for me to backtrack. How would you compare the way that Gone Girl opened the door for you in terms of, the movie's very successful, and then I imagine after what you picture your career being is different because maybe there's more doors open than you realize were even there for you before. So how that project changed the game compared to going back to Die Another Day and being part of a Bond series? How did those two situations compare to one another?
Well, I'm a funny one because I think when I have a kind of glimpse of sort of success like that, I tend to sort of shrink away from it a little bit. So I mean, right after Gone Girl, I went and had another baby, which was perhaps not what other people might have done in that position. They might have capitalized on the moment rather than disappear from the scene for a year. And similarly, after Die Another Day, I went and did a small play at the Royal Court Theatre in London. And I remember, unfortunately, it's not what you should say if you want a big career, but I remember being on the bus, going over a bridge in London, going over down towards Clapham, and thinking, after all the kind of flying around first class on the kind of Bond magic carpet, I was on this bus and I thought, no, this is who I am. And it was such a kind of key feeling, and I thought, oh dear, that's not what someone with an international film career should be thinking, but it was the truth. Going into this rehearsal room in Clapham, I thought, no, this is who I am. And I just had this incredible experience with Bond, which was, it's like you'd literally jump on a magic carpet and you're all over the world, and there's hotels and the premieres and the sort of massive thing that is Bond. It's exhilarating, but I knew it wasn't really me.
Wheel of Time now. I think this is your first non-voice acting lead role in a live action series. So is there any reason why you did not do a live action series before? And what was it about Wheel of Time that made it worth the commitment?
I didn't want to commit to a live action series before because there were just too many things I still had to learn, too many women to play, too many, I've played this whole slew of characters sort of since Amy that just taught me more and more, and I grew a lot as an actress, I think. And then I kind of felt that this character called me. There's a reason that these things come to you at a certain time, and I felt there was a very strong, like a voice in my head that thought, you have to listen to this, you have to do this one. I think it's going to teach you stuff. And it was something about the nature of the channeling, this woman who could harness the powers of the universe. And I thought there was a dimension of this character that would be a teacher, be a guide. She is a guide in the show, but I thought she could be a guide to me too, if that doesn't sound too weird.
Not at all.
So yeah, it was that really. And I felt, if I had done a series 10 years ago, think of all the characters I would have missed out on playing. And now I'm ready to give over a few years of my life to Moiraine. She's worth it, she's evolving, and I know where she's going because the books are out there, and I admire her. I think you can't play a character for that long unless you admire them. I admire her zeal and her commitment to a cause, and she's got a cause for which she's prepared to die, and that's a pretty fearsome thing.
I want to know about the big action set piece at the end of episode 1, which truly blew my mind. Big, complicated set piece with a whole lot going on. But if you could isolate one specific component of that proved to be the most challenging, what would it be?
Well, it was what Daniel Henney and I, Daniel Henney plays Lan, who's Moraine's warder, and the warder Aes Sedai relationship is something that is really one of the most intriguing parts of the Wheel of Time. It's this very compelling relationship between a man and a woman, where he's kind of like her guardian, her protector, but she has immense power in her own right, and they actually feel what one another feels. And it's a sort of, it's a relationship that's like non-sexual, but deeply intimate and full of trust and loyalty. And we wanted them to be completely badass when they came to fight together. And we wanted this synchronicity so that you felt this kind of yin yang cooperation between these two, and that his kind of rapid fire sword movements gave her space to channel the power, and so Daniel and I would have to sense each other in space, because often we were turned away from one another, and we got there to the point that we could feel each other in space sort of semi-telepathically, and that was, we worked really hard for weeks on it and choreographed it, and I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of the balance, because Wheel of Time is all about balance and the kind of the ferocity of the sword play versus the sort of stillness of her channeling, which still unleashes, you know, untold terrors and powers. It was great. It's a sequence I'm proud of.
Congratulations on the show. It kind of breaks my heart that I have to let you go. I didn't even utter the words, I care a lot. Everyone out there, watch that too. Rosamund, thank you so much for your time today. Big congrats on Wheel of Time and your entire filmography.
Thanks. It was fun. This was really fun.